Hello, welcome to Report Vikings, your daily Minnesota Vikings news channel. Let's explore today's latest news. But first, I ask for your help. Like this video. Many of you follow our content daily but forget to click the like button. It's a simple, free gesture that helps us a lot. I appreciate your support. Today we have two pieces of news that are driving fans crazy. There's great news about the signing of an NFL star, and a controversy involving a Vikings star. Now, enough of the chatter. Let's go! Jaylen Royals, the explosive bet that can transform the Vikings' attack. With the 2025 NFL Draft approaching, the Minnesota Vikings find themselves in a unique position, a rare thing in the competitive world of the NFL. After strategic moves in recent years and a roster that is starting to show solidity at several positions, the Vikings are not in desperate need of an immediate starter. This gives them the freedom to look for something even more valuable: raw talent, potential to be honed, and pieces that can raise the team's ceiling in the medium and long term. It is in this scenario that a name begins to gain strength behind the scenes in Minnesota. Jaylen Royals, wide receiver at Utah State University. While discussions surrounding the draft revolve around bolstering areas such as the offensive line, especially the left guard competition, the cornerback core and depth at the safety position, few are talking about what may be a silent but strategic need: the third wide receiver, the famous WR3. Last season, Jalen Nailor was efficient when called upon, covering for Jordan Addison with competence. But with his contract entering its final year, the team could be looking for an alternative who offers more than stability. Someone who brings youth, explosiveness, and dynamism to the attack. And Royals fits that profile perfectly. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches and weighing 200 pounds, Jaylen Royals already has the physique to compete at the highest level. His 40-yard dash time of 4.42 seconds is impressive on its own, but even more remarkable when you know he achieved that feat just after recovering from a foot injury that cut short his 2024 season. That natural speed, coupled with his ability to change direction quickly, makes him a constant vertical threat. But Royals isn't just a sprinter. His spatial awareness, body control, and ability to adapt to different coverages are impressive. At Utah State, he often faced press coverage right at the line of scrimmage, and, even with limited space, he found ways to get away from defenders with intelligence and technique, something rare for receivers at the beginning of their careers. Promising start to the season. Until the injury before the injury, Royals were on a meteoric rise. In just 7 games, he has amassed 834 yards and 6 touchdowns, including an impressive string of performances: 211, 155, and 188 yards in his last 3 full games. He was simply unstoppable. The numbers don't lie. Royals were a nightmare for opposing defenses. However, their production dropped off against the strongest opponents on their schedule: Utah and USC. In those games, he only totaled 44 and 47 yards, respectively. This raises a question. To what extent was the limitation his or the inefficient offensive system and the poor performance of the quarterback? For many analysts, the answer lies somewhere in between, but it is a point that NFL coaching staffs will analyze closely. In addition to his ability to stretch the field with vertical routes, where he averaged 15.2 yards per reception and averaged 9.2 yards depth, Royals also excelled in the screen game. With elite speed and the ability to make the first defender miss, he has become a lethal weapon on short, designed plays like screens and lateral passes. Utah State knew this and used it frequently on this type of play, which resulted in over 150 yards. The interesting thing is that Royals doesn't rely exclusively on speed. Your routes are surprisingly clear. He gets in and out of breaks with agility, which is essential to beating more physical defenders in the NFL. However, his route tree at the intermediate level is still limited, a reflection of both his development and the way he was utilized in college. a perfect fit for Kevin O'Connell's system. Given his struggles with line pressure, many analysts believe the Royals' best use in the NFL would be in the slot, where he would have more space to work with and less direct physical interference. In that scenario, he could coexist perfectly with the established Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, as well as T.J. Hawkinson. His presence as a vertical threat would force defenses to respect deep routes, opening up space for Addison and Jefferson to shine in the short and intermediate zones. At the same time, his ability in the screen game would bring a new dimension to Kevin O'Connell's designed offense, offering more unpredictability and rhythm. Of course, there are risks. Royals is not a ready prospect. It requires technical development, especially in understanding the game, reading coverage, and executing more complex routes. But the Vikings have shown an ability to develop that type of player. And if the gamble pays off, the payoff could be huge. By picking the Royals, the Vikings would be taking a chance on a player who not only fills a void on the roster, but who has real potential to become a central piece of the offense in the future. And in an NFL where explosiveness, versatility, and vertical threat are worth their weight in gold, Jaylen Royals could be exactly the kind of diamond in the rough that Minnesota needs to polish. Carson Wentz, the underrated veteran who could be J.J. McCarthy's safety in Minnesota. The backup quarterback position rarely gets the spotlight in the NFL. But in Minnesota, the battle for the QB2 job has become as intriguing a narrative as the battle for a starting spot. The reason? Simple. The Vikings' current #1 quarterback is J.J. McCarthy, a rookie, a promising prospect, and completely inexperienced in the NFL. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell knows this, and precisely for that reason, choosing who will be the supporting arm behind the scenes, and possibly on the field if necessary, has become one of the most important decisions of this offseason. And among names like Ryan Tannehill, Sam Howell, and others released after the busy free agency market, one name stands out: Carson Wentz. A golden opportunity for a quiet rebirth. In an ideal scenario for Minnesota, where there is no need to spend draft picks or compromise the salary cap with a big-ticket signing, Wentz emerges as an attractive option. He is not coming to compete for the starting position. He comes in as a reliable backup plan, a mentor who has lived through the highs and lows of the NFL and can guide McCarthy with experience, or step in if the unexpected happens. And the most curious thing? Wentz has a lot more in common with Sam Darnold than he might think, and O'Connell has already shown that he knows how to work with that type of quarterback. A first-round talent who hasn't reached his peak, but still carries the glow of what could have been. It's impossible to talk about Carson Wentz without remembering 2017. That year should have been the beginning of the Wentz era in the NFL. He was playing at an MVP level for the Eagles when a knee injury cut his dreams short. What happened next became history. But not his. It was Nick Foles, the backup, who led the team to the Super Bowl title, defeating none other than Tom Brady at US Bank Stadium, home of the Vikings. And what was supposed to be a magical season turned into a difficult burden to bear. In addition to the injury, Wentz had to deal with the pressure, the comparisons, and worse, the fact that his backup became a national hero, complete with a statue in front of Philadelphia's stadium. Mentally, it changes a player. Since then, stories have circulated about his locker room behavior. But do they still make sense? Jonathan Allen. The NFL sometimes feels like high school. Jonathan Allen, Wentz's former teammate on the Washington's Commanders and current Vikings player, made a point of defending the quarterback in an interview with 106.7, the fan radio station in Washington, D.C. "I have no idea where these rumors came from. Sometimes the NFL feels like high school, full of drama and gossip that doesn't reflect reality." Wentz always had a positive attitude, didn't pout, and was well-liked in the locker room. Strong words. And coming from someone who lived with him on a daily basis. For Allen, The image of Wentz as a bad teammate is outdated and perhaps unfair. After all, we are talking about a history from 6 or 7 years ago. After 2017, Wentz was never the same. But it was never a complete disaster either. His numbers reveal a player who fluctuated, but who at various times showed flashes of the talent that made him the second overall pick in the draft. 2018, Eagles. 3,074 yards, 21 TDs, 7 INTs. 2019, Eagles. 4,039 yards, 27 TDs, 7 INTs. 2020, Eagles. 2,620 yards, 16 TDs, 15 INTs. 2021, Colts. 3,563 yards, 27 TDs, 7 INTs. 2022, Commanders. 1,755 yards, 11 TDs, 9 INTs. Yes, there was a fall. But there was also consistency at key moments. He's been through 3 different franchises, with different schemes and varying levels of protection. And yet he's shown he can still contribute. In 2023 and 2024, Wentz has had few chances, but the talent is still there. When Sam Darnold made some great plays in 2023, there were plenty of people who said, "This reminds me of Carson Wentz in his prime." Bringing Wentz to Minnesota isn't a risky move. It's actually a smart solution for a team that needs stability behind a rookie quarterback. He is experienced, has a strong arm, functional mobility, and, most importantly, would not be under pressure to lead. His role would be to support, guide, and be ready if the unexpected happens. Plus, with McCarthy still adjusting to the pace of the NFL, having a backup QB who has seen every possible scenario, from MVP to being released, could be a quiet boon to the rookie's development. Carson Wentz doesn't have the same shine as he once did. But maybe, at this point in his career, he doesn't even want that. What he is looking for is a place to start over with dignity, help a promising team, and, who knows, rewrite the final chapters of a career marked by talent, injuries, and incomplete narratives. What about the Vikings? They need exactly that. Someone who knows what to do when the pressure is on. In Minnesota, Wentz can finally be the quiet hero they've been missing. No statue, no spotlight, but with real impact.